سلام الله عليكم ورحمته وبركاته سلام مثل شهد بالزلال وكالمسك الزكي وكالآل لكم مني سلام من فؤادي كما المزن يسقي كل وادي سلام لو رآه الناس يزهو لمدوا نحوه كل الأيادي ولكني أخص به أناسا هم الأقمار من بين العباد هم الأقمار من بين العباد. Who wants to translate? I greet you with a greeting that is vast and profound. Like the purest honey extracted from the remotest of mountains, infused with the purest of the morning dew. A greeting like a life-giving cloud coming from a distant land to a land that lays barren and desolate, perceived hopeless, to bring life-giving, quenching rains that descend to replenish the roots, to replenish and bring back life once more. A greeting so vast and profound, if the people of the world were to take a glimpse of it, they would extend their hands trying to grasp it. Though this greeting is for all people, today I have reserved the special greeting for a special few. It is from my heart to all of you. So. Ramadan. What is Ramadan? So when we think of Ramadan, we think of a time of fasting, right? Think of fasting from dawn until dusk. We don't eat, we don't drink, you don't indulge in the lower requirements of animal nature. That's all we think about when we think of Ramadan. But the reality is, if we look at Ramadan within the context, the historical context in which it was presented, we see that Ramadan comes in 2 years after the Prophet Muhammad goes to the city of Yathrib that is renamed as Medina. It's 15 years after his prophethood. So for 15 years, he's preaching, and then 15 years later, he proclaims that there's this thing, we're going to take an entire month, the month of Ramadan, which was historically one of the summer months, because the word Ramadan in Arabic derives from the word Ramda, which is the scorching, burning sand, because it's the hottest time of the day, which is midday. So the Ramda was associated with a time that the sands were so scorching hot that this was usually around mid-July to mid-August, which was considered the hottest time of the year. So it was a fixed solar month, which referred to the summer period. So of course, as you know, the Islamic calendar is lunar and revolves. So Ramadan can occur during any time of the year right now. So it's no longer the hottest time of the year. You can have Ramadan in December or February when it's freezing outside, which is fine. It's actually better. But Ramadan was set aside for something that is really important. The most important activity of Ramadan is known as Sawm. Now, it's important to distinguish between Sawm and Siyam. So Siyam is the actual physical abstaining from food and drink, etc. But Sawm is not to abstain from eating and drinking. Sawm is only, so Siyam is one aspect, but you also have the most important aspect, which is Sawm. And we're going to try to understand what that means. And Sawm literally in the classical Arabic language means to divide in half. It's to take a loaf of bread and slice it in half. So it signifies what? It signifies sharing. But in the context of Ramadan, Sawm refers to sharing of your time. Sharing of my time, sharing of my expertise to help replenish the world. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during the time of Ramadan, he would spend the fasting hours from dawn until dusk repairing roads, building infrastructure, building irrigation channels, which are essential for ensuring that people are not going to be forced into starvation when you have famines. Sharing people's expertise. If you know something, you can teach people. So it's a time of learning. It's a time of sharing experiences. So Sawm becomes a central aspect of Ramadan. So when we look at the arkan of Islam, what are generally referred to as the 5 pillars, which are known in Arabic as al-arkan, arkan al-Islam. And the arkan are literally layers or levels. It's as if you have a tower, and you build one level over the other. So imagine you have a tower of 5 stories. And as you build the foundation, and then you go on level by level. The higher we go up, the further we are able to see. So when we practice the arkan, it's supposed to make me as a person who's practicing the arkan more far-sighted and more open-minded. So basically, what it's supposed to translate into is the more religious you are, the more open-minded and the more accepting and the more, and we're not going to use the word tolerant because tolerance means I'm going to accept you, but I really don't accept you. I'm like just tolerating you. But it's a level higher than that, which is acceptance, that yes, you are different, you are unique, but I'm going to like you for the fact that you are different. So in the Quran, it has a powerful passage that says, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. That God has made us different on purpose. It's important for us to be different. And he says the reason you are different is لِتَعَارَفُوا, so that you can accept each other knowing that you are different. Because see, a lot of times, and this is the thing that we have as human beings, we tend to gravitate towards people who are like us. See, oh, we're going to go and we're going to do interfaith dialogue and outreach with people who are exactly like us. Because they think like us, they dress like us, they see the world like us. So we're going to show the world that we are united. So the Quran says, no, you go with people and show them, look, you are different than me. And you have different ideas. But I'm going to accept you and I'm going to love you for the fact that you are different. I'm going to accept you for who you are, the way you are, as you are. I'm going to try my best to learn from you in the same way that I would like to share my experience with you. That aspect is the underlying core of the foundations of what Ramadan is supposed to be about. So the sharing of food is just the superficial, the surface aspect of what Ramadan is about, and that's not where it lands. That's not where it stops, because we share food, but through sharing food, as the Prophet Muhammad told us, which I think most of us hear anyway, he says that the fastest and best way to a person's heart and mind is through their stomach. So make sure that they've eaten well, you break bread together, and then you sit down and you discuss and you dialogue. Let's discuss different ideas, and we don't have to agree, and we don't have to have the same view of the world, but we can exchange ideas and we say, oh, how can we learn from each other? How can we enhance each other's experiences and share these experiences together? So this is the foundation of what Ramadan is supposed to be about. And Siyam refers to people gathering their experience and saying, look, I'm going to share my experience. I'm going to share what I have with others who are less privileged. And for those who are privileged as well, we're going to share each other's experiences in life and share knowledge. So if we look at all of that within the foundations of Ramadan, let's take all of this as the core and look at it within where does it fit in that 5 layers that we call the arkan of Islam. If we were to do an internet search on Islam, you're going to get things that Islam means peace. Peace of what? I don't know, but it says peace. Or Islam means submission. You've heard that. Or submission to the will of God, etc. But the reality is, Islam doesn't mean peace, because the concept of peace is a Greek concept. It doesn't exist in Arabic, and it doesn't exist in Hebrew. So when the Hebrews say shalom, shalom does not mean peace, just like salam does not mean peace. We use it as that, but the underlying meaning of that word is much more powerful. Like when you look at Jerusalem, they call it Yerushalayim. And they tell you it's supposed to be the abode of peace. But knowing Jerusalem and its histories has never known a day of peace since the day it was built. Always destroyed, etc. Every time Jerusalem is destroyed to the ground and has to be rebuilt. Destroyed to the ground and has to be rebuilt. How is it a place of peace? But if you understand the root of the word shalom and salam, then you understand what the word is actually telling us. The root word salama, the triliteral word, is actually a reference to repairing of things that are cracked and broken. So that makes sense. So Yerushalayim does not mean the place of peace. It's a place of reparation, the place where you keep rebuilding because you're going to be broken. So it's the statement is, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going. So Islam means to rebuild. Islam means a constant state of healing, whereas the onus of responsibility of healing is on the individual. So when you say, I'm a Muslim, it means that I am trying to heal myself and heal the world, heal the fractions and the brokenness in the world, and I'm going to do my best as a person to make that happen. I'm not going to wait for someone else to do the work. The word for submission in Arabic is istislam, not Islam. Difference. They're not the same word. So if that's the case, if the purpose of the sake of Islam is to repair and heal fractures, and brokenness, then you need to give us a recipe to do that. So Islam comes and the Prophet Muhammad says, look, there are 5 things that you can do that can help you do Islam, which is repairing of the fractures, repairing of this brokenness. The first is known as shahada. And shahada derives from the honeycomb, which is the product of hard work. It's a product of hard work. So you need to do a lot of hard work before you get to a honeycomb. So a lot of times people think that, okay, shahada is the beginning. You say it, and then all of a sudden you enter into Islam. But there's a lot of hard work that has to be done before that, which is work that is associated with a lot of seeking of knowledge. So just like the bee goes around from flower to flower, from blossom to blossom, from petal to petal, and extracts the pollen from different flowers. It doesn't discriminate. They say, well, this is a white flower, this is a red flower, I'm only going to take from one flower. It takes from what? It takes from everything. So Shahada teaches us that you, as a human being, need to get your knowledge from diverse sources. But it's not enough just to gather that knowledge. You need to process and analyze it. So the bee takes all of this pollen, it processes it, and then it creates honey. And that honey that you create has to be beneficial not only for you, but for the world. And as we know, honey is used as a cure. Honey is used when you are sick. The honeycomb itself has given us ideas of how to use the structure. We've taken the structure of the honeycomb and adopted it in the modern world. We have structures that use the honeycomb structure because of its efficiency, etc., etc. And the comb itself can be melted and then used for wax, as we used in the past. People use it at night in their candles. So that is a foundation. The foundation is what? is that you have something that builds upon something that makes the world a better place. So the second aspect, Islam says, well, we're going to have salah, which is a rope bridge suspended over a ravine. So the purpose of salah, which people translate as prayer, by the way, salah does not mean prayer. Salah is a connection, a link that links on 3 levels. It's a connection between me and the Creator. So it's you concentrating on your purpose of life and what is beyond this world. Me connecting with myself, which is extremely important. Who am I? What have I done in this world? And it's daily checking. What have I done today? What am I planning to do tomorrow? Where do I stand in life? Where are my goals? And how am I achieving them? And the third, which is the most important, is where do I stand in the context of the world? How is my connection to others? And how am I making sure that every person I touch in my life, that my interaction with that person is improving their lives? Because that's very important. Because when we are all going to interact with others, and we will connect with others whether we like it or not, because we're humans. So the question is my interaction with other people going to improve their lives, or is it going to make their lives miserable? So that's the first question. And we know the answer. So if the things that I'm doing are improving, then yes, I do that and I continue, etc. If it's not, then I have to roll back and rethink. The third aspect is what we call the zakah. And zakah is not about me giving money to the poor. Zakah is about providing equal opportunities to people, where everyone has equal opportunities in order for them to elevate themselves. The fourth comes in as the Sawm, which is now I have given people opportunities. Now I need to give people from my own time, from my own experience I share with others. And then the fifth comes as the Hajj. And the word Hajj in Arabic is the lantern that shines, a beacon of light that shines in the darkness. And once you have done all of this, Hajj is a time where people come together in an annual convention to share their experiences. But Hajj is not about the meeting, but about what you're going to do after when you go back into the world. So this is where Ramadan comes in as a yearly reminder of these 5, that we practice them all for an entire month, a month of resolutions. You say, what I'm going to do, who am I, what are the resolutions I'm going to work on for the next year? I have 30 days to practice, and then the rest of the year I'm going to implement, because I have 30 days of practicing, building up this habit that's supposed to become part of who I am, internalized by me. So the Prophet Muhammad says, if Ramadan comes and you spend the whole month doing things, and you go after Ramadan going back to your old habits, your Ramadan was a waste of time. Correct? We've heard that before. So this is basically a time where we get to practice and break bad habits, build new habits, and we have an entire month to practice them and move them forward. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day. The Algebra Society is a 501c3 nonprofit funded by the generosity of viewers like you. Please consider making a donation today.